Om-jnana-timirandasya gyananjana-shalakaya chakshur-militanjena tasmai Śrī-Gurave Namaha. Śrī Guru Gaur Gandharva Govinda Gringanaysa Vande Prasadato Yesham Sarvaramba Shubhankaraha. So we're continuing with Sri Sri Prapanna-jivanamrita with our good friends here in Canberra. And we're going through this third chapter, acceptance of the favorable. And as we mentioned yesterday, we see that Param Guru Maharaj, the way that he has, the order in which he's presenting these verses, it's specific. There's some method here. There's some system. And so he started out at the beginning of this chapter, with a general, broad, presentation of those things which are favorable, Sankir, Harinam, Sankirtan, Sadhu Sangha, these things, and now coming to more and more, refined, finer points in this regard. And so now, these last couple of verses that we read, they are not pertaining so much to our practice here and now, as the earlier verses were, but they are more concerning what we understand to be the ideal. The ideal of Krishna consciousness, which our gurus want to give us. When we say Krishna consciousness, that's a very broad thing, actually. If we say Vaishnavism, that is a broader thing. But what exactly is it that our gurus in this line of the Rupanuga line, not even if you say Gaudiya Vaishnava, even if you say follower of Mahaprabhu, that's also covering a broad spectrum. Maybe in terms of the total world population and people practicing one path or another, it's a tiny, they'll lump everything together. But for us, there's a massive world of difference between us and somebody else who's following Mahaprabhu. There's a world of difference there. There's so many different groups that are following Mahaprabhu. Even interestingly, Mahaprabhu has his own line of succession, because Mahaprabhu, he gave direct initiation, it said, to one or two persons only, and Vikreshwar Pandit, who was he was like the main person who's recognized as having been a direct disciple of Mahaprabhu. And so he actually has his own line of succession, like Mahaprabhu has his own line of direct succession, from Mahaprabhu to Vikreshwar Pandit, and that's still continuing today in Puri at the rādhā-kuṇḍam mat, where the Gambhir is, where Mahaprabhu stayed in his last years. But interestingly, Mahaprabhu didn't point that out to be like his preferred line. He didn't direct his followers to Vikreshwar Pandit. Rather, he chose Rupa. He chose Rūpa Goswāmī as his favorite, as his successor, and in a very, very clearly he demonstrated Rūpa Goswāmī's his qualification, his capacity, his knowledge, his devotional quality. Mahaprabhu very clearly publicly had him examined with all of his most qualified devotees and made it clear publicly, he's the one. I'm pointing him out as the one, who's going to continue my sampradaya, who's going to, everything that I want to give, he's going to be the one to really, establish that and present that in a shastric way, in the form of writing. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Rūpa Goswāmī, who fulfilled the heart's desire of Mahaprabhu. That is the special place of Śrī Rūpa. So this line of Mahaprabhu to Rūpa Goswāmī to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, to our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrī Hardev Goswāmī Maharaj, to our Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswāmī Maharaj, and to the present day, all of the the faithful followers of theirs. So what is amongst this whole group of persons who will identify as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as followers of Mahaprabhu, what is particularly the angle of vision that is being cultivated here? What is the ideal which is being, the specific ideal which is being upheld as the highest? So that, now Param Guru Maharaj, he's coming to discussion of those things, these finer points. These things are not, in a practical level, they're not so applicable in our lives here and now. But this is something that on a conscious level we want to understand as being like, that's where our gurus want to take us. That's the destination, that's the goal, that's the highest thing that can be conceived. So it is also important that we have some appreciation for these things. We can do many things, but we also need to have some understanding and develop appreciation for what our gurus want to give us and where they want to take us. And so this verse is very important for us that we're coming to now. This is yesterday we finished on a verse from Upadesamrta, and this verse is also from Upadesamrta. I think it's the 10th, no, not the 10th, the 9th verse out of the 11. And this verse Srila Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj quoted many times, and it's very significant because it's showing the ontology of the spiritual domain, we can say, and showing in a systematic way, why Vṛndāvan, Govardhan, and ultimately Rādhā-kuṇḍam holds the highest position in the spiritual sky. Okay, so this is the verse. And this is verse 22 of chapter 3. vraja-bhajana-tāratmyānubhūtiḥ. The comparative ontological conception of devotion in Vṛndāvan. And this is the Sanskrit verse by Śrī Rūpa Goswāmī. Vaikuṇṭhāj janito varā madhu-purī tatrāpi rāsotsavād. Vṛndāraṇyam udāra-pāṇi-ramaṇāt tatrāpi govardhanaḥ. Rādhā-kuṇḍam ihāpi gokula-pateḥ premāmṛtāplāvanāt. Kuryād asya virājato giri-taṭe sevāṁ vivekī nakha. And so again, as with some of the previous verses, there's instead of giving the direct translation of the Sanskrit here, Srila, we don't have an extra copy.
I'm just enjoying the nectar.
I was feeling bad because I should have given you that copy for here.
Said, we could use it here.
Yeah. Yeah. She was so enthusiastic, and I felt like I had to. I should have been more sensible.
That's right.
Anyway.
Maybe I can ask if we can borrow it back while you're here, just so that people can read it. They're here.
Now the Sundar has a copy. Maybe he could
leave
it here. Anyhow.
Yeah, we want it.
Yeah. These are so precious. Few copies around. So instead of giving a direct translation of the Sanskrit here, Param Guru Maharaj has selected an expanded Bengali translation given by his Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is really a significant point. As I mentioned earlier on, this is showing this mood of Guru Anugatya, the subservience to Guru, following Guru, chastity to Guru, faithfulness to Guru. That, where Srila Sridhar Maharaj is seeing, my Gurudev has given some elaboration on this. Instead of giving my own, I will take that. This is it's significant. The way everything that Srila Sridhar Maharaj does is perfect in every sense, from all angles. It's perfect. So that is a significant point. Because, logically that makes sense. You would put just the direct translation of the verse, or even put both, like put the direct and then put the expanded. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj is just saying, what's the point of giving my own direct translation? My Guru Maharaj has given something, I'll just put that, There was one occasion, one one book of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There were some different editions of it that were published by different Gaudiya Mats, and they were published in the way that the text was presented was different in the case of different acharyas who published this book. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj also had his own way of presenting that. And somebody asked Srila Gurudev about this. And, Guru Maharaj has done it like this with this other chart. Like they were comparing all these different, and Srila Gurudev was not happy about that question. He said, why are you going like a prostitute? What Guru Maharaj has done is perfect. Like, you don't need to know anything else. What he's done is perfect. You don't need to compare and try to analyze which one is superior. Whatever Guru Maharaj does is perfect. That's all we need to know. And so Gurudev had this very strong mood of chastity. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj, we're seeing that same style here. So anyhow, this is the verse, the translation. Expanded verse, Bengali verse translation. Vaikuṇṭha hoite sheshta mathurana gari janamalo virājato Krishna Chandra Hari Mathura hoite sheshta Vṛndāvanadam Yata sadhyache Hari rāsotsavād Vṛndāvana hoite sheshta govardhana shaila Giridhari gandharvika jata krida koila Govardhana hoite sheshta rādhā-kuṇḍam tata premāmṛtāplāvanāt basailo gokula-pateḥ Govardhana giri-taṭe rādhā-kuṇḍam chari anyachaje kore nija kunja pushpavadi Nirbodha taharsam kehonahi har kundatir sarvotam stan premadar. And now this is the English translation of that Bengali verse translation. Higher than Vaikuṇṭha is Mathura city, since there occurred the advent of Sri Krishna Chandra Hari. Better than Mathura is Vṛndāvan, the holy place, where Lord Krishna enjoyed the joyous dance of amorous grace. Above Vṛndāvan Dham is Govardhan hill. The lifter of the hill and his consort there did intimately revel. Even higher than Govardhan hill is the banks of Rādhā-kuṇḍam, that the sweetheart of Gokul overfloods, sweet love abound. Who would select for his worship any other place, disregarding the sacred pond at Govardhan's base? Such a foolish fellow surely can't be found. The highest abode of love divine is the banks of Rādhā-kuṇḍam. Not super clear, that translation, but we can go through it. So this is like showing, like step by step, the ontology within the spiritual sky. So it's starting out saying Mathura is superior to Vaikuṇṭha. Why? Because there, janito, there the pastime, the janma lila, the birth pastimes of the Lord took place. So, from an ordinary thinker, they will think that this must be a lower conception of divinity, God taking birth. How can God have birth? How can God have a mother or a father? This is not possible. God is just eternally existent. How can God have parents? This doesn't make sense. So according to the common person, Lord Narayan of Vaikuṇṭha, he appears superior to Krishna. He's more of an awe-inspiring, majestic, divine, transcendental being, right? However, our line of gurus take a different approach. That actually, we can understand the value of a theistic conception according to the degree of rasa that is available, according to the degree of intimate exchange, according to the development of feeling and love and personal exchange that is available. So on the basis of rasa, then one will say that Lord Narayan of Vaikuṇṭha, he has less rasa. There's less rasa there. because that particular relationship of mother and her son, the parents and their child, and then that exchange that one has with the young child, that's a whole world of rasa there, which is not available with Lord Narayan, because he's just eternally existent. He doesn't have this leela, this play, this show, because it's a show, it's a play, it's a drama. He doesn't have this posing, we can say. So therefore, according to the science of rasa, then Lord Narayan, he's underneath Krishna. Krishna has a superior position. And it's also mentioned, I'm not sure where it's from originally, but it's quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Gurudev quoted it too, saying that Krishna and Narayan, they are the same, actually, and it is an offense to distinguish between them. However, from the perspective of rasa, then Krishna is superior. From the perspective of rasa.
And rasa is...
Rasa means, this is a word that's very difficult to translate in English, but rasa means, it also means juice, like liquid. So it means like the juice in life, or like it's used to describe the different relationships with Krishna. So it sometimes is translated as relationship, but it means like that unique flavor,
Sweetness, maybe. No?
Sweetness is a kind of rasa, but sadness is also a rasa. Anger is also a rasa, like a particular mood, particular flavor, particular taste. So those 5 principal relationships with Krishna, Shanta rasa, the passive relationship that the plants, the animals have, Dasya rasa, the relationship of servitude, right? Then Sakya rasa, relationship of friendship, Vatsalya, the relationship of a guardian, a superior to Krishna, and Madhura rasa, the highest, the conjugal relationship. So that particular flavor in those relationships, that particular type of exchange, a particular taste, type of ecstasy, it's also put like that sometimes. So we experience, that's a prakrita rasa. We experience prakrita, material rasa in this world. Like if you're going to eat a meal, you have your salty, you have your sweet, you have your sour, your bitter, right? And if you're watching a movie, you're not interested in just like straight comedy or straight adventure, straight romance. It gets boring. You like some mixture, right? You're not happy doing exactly the same thing every day at the same time. You like some variety. You like to spice it up a little bit. And it's not that you only have one kind of relationship, but you have many different types of relationships, with your friends and your family and co-workers and neighbors and so on and so forth. So all of this, it creates this completeness, this variety. So this is actually, and this is why impersonal conception, people are fooling themselves if they really think they'll be satisfied with that. Because we all need this, variety, this variety of taste and experience and flavor. This is what drives us. This is what we're seeking. So we're fooling ourselves if we think we'll be happy with some position, of impersonal realization or just pure consciousness. We'll be bored. We won't be satisfied by that. So this is why scientifically Krishna can be understood to be the most complete conception of divinity. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used this expression, full-fledged theism, fully developed theism, fully developed. Nothing is missing there. It's complete. And why? Because everything is available with Krishna. No, he's not too high, not too low. He's in this middle, hidden position where he's able to exchange in this very, developed way. Whereas Narayan, the relationship's very limited, because first of all, he's this very imposing, and Narayan, he really corresponds to the Christian conception of God the Father. It's the same, we can understand that conception of God the Father in Christianity, it came from the Narayan Vishnu conception. So that puts a big check on the relationship. There's this very grand figure who isn't born, has 4 arms, this is a divine, this is God in front of me. Let's bow down here and stay a little away, So there's major limitation. It's said like the first 2.5 rasas are available with Narayan. Shanta, dasya, a little bit of sakya, little intimacy is there, but mostly it's all dasya rasa. It's all in the mood of servitorship. So here, our gurus are like looking at this from this perspective of rasa, saying that Mathura is superior to Vaikuṇṭha because Krishna's Janma Lila, his pastimes of birth, took place there. So that's a superior conception of divinity from the perspective of rasa. And then higher than Mathura, so Mathura is where the birth Leela took place, the Janma Leela. Then Vṛndāvan is superior. Why? Because there the rasa dance took place. This Madhura rasa exchange took place in Vṛndāvan. So Vṛndāvan has a superior position to Mathura. And then higher than Mathura is Govardhan, because there more intimate, more exclusive pastimes took place. The rasa leela is more, billions and billions of vraja gopis. Of course, we're not really, qualified to talk about, to say who is who and what is what, but, just commenting on what's being presented here. So Govardhan is more of an exclusive, more of an intimate group. And then superior to Govardhan is Radha-kuṇḍ. Radha-kuṇḍ has the highest position in the spiritual sky. And one Srila Maharaj, he has this he has this incredible way of like presenting things that appear like very like abstruse, very remote, like in a way that just like we can really understand and makes perfect sense. Like something very, it becomes something both very profound, but also something like very immediate that we can relate to, we can understand. Like one thing I appreciated very much, I found so helpful, is he said, like the word divine, we say divine this and divine that, and so in one place he says divine means dedication. At its root, divine means dedication. The more one is entering into the plane of dedication, the more divine we can say that they are. And what is the nature of a divine person? They're fully living in that consciousness of dedication. Their whole existence is for that. So Srila Maharaj commented about Radha-kuṇḍ. It's described as the highest place. Like why is that so? What does that mean? And he said because there, in response to the greatest degree of self-giving, Krishna is revealing himself the most. Because that is where the greatest degree of self-sacrifice and self-giving is being offered to Krishna. And so in response to that, Krishna is giving himself, So that is what makes it the highest place. And then so then some foolish persons, and no doubt I'd probably be one of those if it wasn't for our gurus giving us proper realization. They go to jump into Radha-kuṇḍ because it's the highest place. And the very last verse it's very interesting, the very last verse of the Upadesamrita, because it's celebrating Radha. Here it's mentioning Radha-kuṇḍ here, the conclusion, but in the last verse it's just focusing on Radha-kuṇḍ, and so then Śrī Rūpa Goswāmī says there, he's saying how one who can bathe in this lake of Radha-kuṇḍ, they'll get the rarest type of prema bhakti. This is what you'll get if you bathe there. But then he also says there that it's very rare for one to be able to bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ, and he mentions even pure devotees, it's difficult for them. Kim punar bhakti bhajam. So what to speak of ordinary practitioners? He says that in the verse, But people don't look at that part, and they just see the part where he's saying that if you can bathe in this lake, you'll get the various type of prema bhakti. So everyone goes rushing to Radha-kuṇḍ. And so Srila Sridhar Maharshi commented, it is not that kind of water. Like just water you can go and swim in. These are waters of dedication. One has to be at a particular, level of consciousness to be able to bathe in those holy waters. And so he says, plodding in the mud of misconception, thinking one is swimming in the waters of Radha-kuṇḍ. He has this expression like this. Plodding in the mud of misconception, thinking one is swimming in the waters of Radha-kuṇḍ. And I want to find, there's this really nice quote, this is like an incredible quote of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Let me find it, where he's saying how difficult it is to be able to really bathe in those waters. Let me find it. I don't want to spoil it. Just blew me away. Here it is. Okay, so this is a quote from Srila Saraswati Thakur on this point. So he's saying in quotes, I have taken bath in Radha-kuṇḍ. I took a dip in Radha-kuṇḍ. I am a lump of flesh and blood. I am my wife's maintainer. I am a sannyasi. I am a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. Thinking in any of these ways does not give the qualification to bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ. What to speak of such materialistic conceptions? If we are filled with the conception of awe and reverence, we cannot bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ. Even if we're on a spiritual, even if not just like spiritual, but like we've entered the transcendental plane, but we have some attachment to Vaikuṇṭha conception, we cannot bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ. It's so radical. And that's another point coming up. I've taken bath in Radha-kuṇḍ. I took a dip in Radha-kuṇḍ. I am a lump of flesh and blood. Like, if we're identifying with this physical body in some way, how can we have the audacity to think, we can do that? I am my wife's maintainer. I am a sannyasi. I am a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. Thinking in any of these ways does not give the qualification to bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ. What to speak of such materialistic conceptions? If we are filled with the conception of awe and reverence, we cannot bathe in Radha-kuṇḍ. It's so heavy. It's so real. So then another important point here, which we can also discuss, which is important for members of this line, is that and this was expressed by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our Gurudev, our Param Gurudev, that so understanding this ontology, and understanding Radha-kuṇḍ to be the most superior place in existence, then our gurus, they take the stance, then we will stay one step below. We are identifying Radha-kuṇḍ as the highest place, then we will not stay there. Our gurus will stay there, and we ourselves, we will stay in Govardhan, which is one step below Radha-kuṇḍ. And so for this reason, Govardhan has been identified as the place of our aspiration, the place where where the Rupanugas, they aspire to stay, And so, for that reason, our Gurudev, he established a mat there. That was Srila Sridhar Maharaj's desire. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he told our Gurudev, don't make too many mats. You can make one in Puri, make one in Govardhan. And maybe Calcutta also, like as a transit place, devotees arriving. So Govardhan was, that was, one of the places Srila Sridhar Maharaj particularly identified as, appropriate that we have a place there. And so that was very, very significant for Gurudev to have that place there. And Gurudev used to say, that he was never able to do it, but he used to say, I want to stay in Govardhan, and I want to, he expressed, because he had some, Srila Sridhar Maharaj had some, we won't go into it now because that'll be a tangent, too much of a tangent, but there were some shloka composition that Srila Sridhar Maharaj had requested Gurudev to do, a particular project. And Gurudev was never able to do it, and Gurudev would express, like on a few occasions, we heard him say, I'll retire from all the missionary activities, and I'll just stay in Govardhan, and I'll, make these, work on this shloka project, this, like that was like his dream, And for that reason, Srila Acharya Maharaj made the Pushpa Samadhi of our Gurudev there in Govardhan. And he said, Srila Gurudev said something to him, like he wanted his Samadhi to be there, but then it just wasn't practical in the end to bring Gurudev's, form there, and so kept in Navadvip. But that Pushpa Samadhi, when you go to India, please go to Govardhan, and so beautiful that. And many devotees have expressed they feel if they feel more happy, they feel more Gurudev's connection there, in that Murti of Srila Gurudev there in Govardhan. And also Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he expressed at the end of his days that he wanted to stay in Govardhan, and also we can add, what was expressed is that we will stay in Govardhan, and then very early in the morning we will arise, we will go to Kusham Sarovar, pick some flowers there, and then go to Radha-Kund, and throughout the day we will render service to our gurus in Radha-Kund, and then at the end of the day we will return to Govardhan and we'll stay the night there, and then the next morning we will start again, but always going back like to the safe position, one step below. And there was one day in Govardhan when I was there in 2008. It was February 2008, and my sister told me, she was there too, and that there was one morning where Shri Ashapurna and Sri Lekha Didi, the two of them were together, and they went in and offered obeisances to Srila Gurudev, and then when I think as they were like sitting up, then Srila Gurudev, he was in some particular mood, and he said to them completely seriously, he said to them, tomorrow morning, very early, we will go with Guru Maharaj he told them this whole description of what we've heard, what is the ideal. That we will go very early in the morning to Kusham Sarovar, we will collect some flowers there, then we will go to Radha-Kund, we will do service there, and then we will come. He told them like it was like, we're going to do that, just completely straight. And they were like just blown away, and they looked like, who's he talking to? And there wasn't anyone else in the room, like he was talking to them. He was living in that consciousness, and we can also think like he was trying to like on one level like injecting them with something. So Srila Saraswati Thakur, he also at the end of his days expressed that aspiration. He requested one of his followers, Balaram Panda, who was living there in Govardhan, to build something some cottage for him. But he never got to it. There wasn't enough time. But he made that request. And then on the day that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left, that night, this Balaram Panda, he had a dream where Srila Saraswati Thakur came to him in this very vivid and very like dramatic way, and very like disheveled manner, and he said, Balaram, I have come, like now I've arrived here, I'm with you in Govardhan. And Balaram, when he awoke, he was so struck by that, and he immediately sent a telegram to Calcutta, to the devotees in Calcutta, and asked them, like, how is Prabhupada, like, what's going on? And they said, oh, he's just left, And so there is that understanding that Saraswati Thakur, he went to Govardhan, and our Gurudev, in honor of that, he established, I think we mentioned this last week, he that guest house that Srila Gurudev built, he named it like for that, Sri Dayita Das Seva Kunj, Dayita Das being the internal name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So like Gurudev said, this is the place of service of Srila Saraswati Thakur and his servitor group, and so perfect, like that name Gurudev gave, and I heard that Srila Gurudev, when he was building the guest house, he mentioned to the devotees, I've chosen a name for this, but I'm not going to tell it now, because if I do it, everybody will copy it. Because there were other things, because it's so perfect, because there were other things he did, like I think he mentioned like what he put on the temple in Navadvip. There's like this metal, what do you call it, chakra and flute that he has on the temples, and how he mentioned that like he did that first, and then many people copied it. Like there were some things Gurudev did, then other temples started copying it. So Gurudev, he was thinking, if I announce the name before the guest house is made, other people are going to start, because it's such a perfect name, the place of service for Saraswati Thakur, where Sri Dayita Das, the most beloved of Radharani. So very, very important, very significant for us, Govardhan. What time is it now? It's 10 o'clock. Well, we started late.
It's about 38 minutes on.
Mm-hmm. And this line here, Vṛndāvana hoite sheshta, Govardhana shaila, giri-taṭe gandhar vikajata krida koila. This is because Srila Gurudev, he saw our Sokel temple as Gupta Govardhan. There's like, it's a hilly place, like Govardhan Hill, and Srila Gurudev was inspired by that, and he saw it as hidden Govardhan, as Gupta Govardhan, so he called it Gupta Govardhan, and he quoted this line, and he gave that name, Gandharvika Giri-taṭe. Giri-taṭe, name for Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. So he gave those names to the deities there, and he also quoted this verse in relation to that from Saraswati Thakur. And I don't know if it was Srila Gurudev's direct order request, but they've put this line in our up on above the deities, their altar there in Sokel. Vrindavana hoita sheshta. Govardhana shaila. Above Vṛndāvan is Govardhan Hill. Giri-taṭe Gandharvika Jata Krita. There the play of Gandharvika Giri-taṭe took place. So very, very, this is an important verse. for us. Well, I think we can finish there, because the next one is also like an important verse which we want to discuss. That one, or which one am I thinking of? No, maybe it's in the next chapter. Yeah, I think maybe we can finish there for today. And continue tomorrow. I'm trying to think of other points that I wanted to make, but I can't think right now. Okay, we'll stop, and tomorrow we can continue. Jai Sri Sri Prapanna-jivanamrita ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Śrī Rūpa Goswāmī ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Sundar Govindadi Swami ki Jai. So, we can think like these things are all, they're living in the hearts of our gurus. These are all very significant for our gurus, and like that experience they had with those devotees had with our Gurudev, like he's living there, like that's something actually meaningful to him. So this where we are here and now, like Gurudev said, like we're thinking, what are we going to have for breakfast? Like that's where we're living. At least where I'm living. So these things, they don't have so much immediate balance, but we're worshiping, and we don't want to pretend that they do. That's like so foolish. But we want to appreciate this is living in the hearts of our gurus, and we worship that and we bow to that, and by their grace something may come and touch us. Something may be extended to us. Okay, we'll stop there.